Do you work for us now? Your time does not belong to you. Your time belongs to us. No side hustles, no moonlighting, no trying to build something that will help secure your future, because your future belongs to us now because we are employing you. At least that's how they should word it. It seems interesting that so many companies feel threatened if if an employee tries to build something on the side to supplement their income, or to try and build something that they would have on their own, separate from the company. They want to own that time. They want it, they think it belongs to them. There are some companies that are now trying to find out if you have a social media presence, and then they want to let you know that you're not allowed to have that social media presence anymore. Do you have a YouTube channel? Get rid of it, because they want to make sure that your time belongs to them and that it's secure for them. I heard this story of a gentleman who was actually building a business online. And the corporation, his employer, got wind of this small side hustle that he was putting together. And the management in his department went about doing everything they could to frustrate his employment, frustrate his job, so that he would, well, basically would want to quit, or they could find something on him that they would trump up, that they would, I want to say conjure up, but like create out of thin air so that they could fire him. All because he was building something, that could provide for his future, increase his income, not make him so dependent upon the income that they had for him. And I want to say this right now. My future actually belongs to me. My time actually belongs to me. And if I was being hired by a potential employer, and all of a sudden that potential employer let me know that I'm not allowed to have a social media presence, let me tell you something. I'm not taking that job, because the social media presence, and more importantly, building a business, building an income on my own, that belongs to me. My future, man, I've said it already. I'm saying it again. It belongs to me. The reason why I'm getting employment is so that I can begin to secure my future. You know what's interesting? The whole school system, when it was being designed and in the process of being designed, and I will argue it was over many decades, but nonetheless, when it was being designed for the purposes of creating employees, good, obedient, productive employees. It was not to create free thinkers. It was not to create intelligent people. It was not to create entrepreneurs. It was instead solely for the purpose of building employees. I mean, think about this. All the desks are in a row, and then all the students sit in a row, one after another, one after another. There is an instructor that instructs the students, and they have to be quiet, be disciplined, be focused, and produce. Yes, learn, but produce. They have the bells that ring the periods, and it gets you used to this very structured, very produce something routine. The people that come out of that system are not free thinkers. They are not intelligent, and humans are smart. But this system is not trying to produce smart, intelligent people. And the whole system is built that way so that they don't understand entrepreneurship. They don't understand money. They don't understand finance. They don't understand building and creating. They barely really understand management. And about the only thing that you're allowed to do that has to do with something to do with the world is, running for class president and stuff like that. In my opinion, these systems are designed so that you will then go right into the corporations, right into the factories, and be really good at producing. What if, what if we wish to do something else? You're on your own. And as I have learned so much, not only are you on your own, but you better not let anybody know that you're trying to build something while employed, because it is not uncommon that they will do everything they can to discourage you from trying to do something like that. And a lot of times, in my eyes, they will not succeed in actually discouraging the entrepreneur, but they'll use that entrepreneur to as an example to the other employees so that they don't get the bright idea of also trying to build something. But Rodney, don't you know that that employer invested all kinds of money into that employee so that they could have somebody that would be with them for a long time? And if they have everybody going off and doing this, then what would they do? And what would these entrepreneurs do without employees? I will argue that if we had a culture, if we had an economy that was built on entrepreneurship, built on on intelligent thinking, thinking outside of the box, finding solutions and creating and building, that the economy would shift and the people would shift to support and build that. And I would argue that yes, there still would actually be employees, that the employees would still happen. Just that they wouldn't be mindless robots, mindless sheep, just follow in a row, barely doing. How could I say this? How could I say this? It would be like we would have employees that are intelligent and capable and could be in a lot of ways maybe a partner within the business instead of just a mindless employee. That being said, I think there is room for just average common employees like we have today. I think there's room for that, but to fight the system to fight the nature of a man and say you're not allowed to do anything other than serve this company. In a lot of ways, the company is demanding a loyalty that a man should give to his wife and to his family. In fact, it's not uncommon for a company to demand time from that man that he sacrifices from his wife and from his children. Many men have to put in extra hours for the promise that one day when he retires, one day in the future, well, there will be 2 weeks some point in this year where you're going to be able to spend some extra time with your family. But the rest of the year, you'd better be absolutely loyal to this company. I remember I worked for this company. It was a warehouse. And all of a sudden, the weekend was coming up. And my boss came up to me and said, you're working Saturday. Excuse me? Not, would you be willing to please come in on Saturday? No, it's you're working Saturday. I kicked up a bit of a stink. And I did get out of that. But it definitely did not endear me to the company. I remember there was a day, I didn't work very long for this company, but there was a day shift, and all of a sudden I was in one department that was where I was supposed to be working, and now they needed extra hands in this other department. Rodney, we need you this evening over here, which would then put extra hours on my day. And I can hear people saying, well, you'll get overtime. I promised that company 40 hours a week, not 52. If I promise 52 hours a week, I didn't promise 60. And if they need me for extra time, they need to ask permission, and there should be zero retaliatory or disciplinary action if that employee, if I say no. Because that time belongs to me. My life belongs to me. I do not live that I may work. I work that I may live. That took me a long time to come to that conclusion, to find that sentence, to find that thinking. That yes, I am an employee of that company, but I am not that company. In fact, You know how a lot of us say, well, I am a teacher, or I am a doctor, or I am a police officer, or, I'm a business owner. And I'm starting to think to myself, I'm not sure if I want my identity to be so tied to my occupation, the way that I make money to provide for myself and my family. Do I really want myself to be identified just with, I am a doctor, I am an electrician, or what I do for a living is I teach. What I do for a living, the way that I provide for my family is I'm a doctor, which I think it sounds kind of weird to even say that. But now being unemployed for as long as I have and trying to build something, I'm really thinking about this. It's like, what should my identity be tied to, and how do I value myself? Should it be that I value myself through the company, and that my value is tied with them completely, which then if they were to threaten my employment with them in any way, that also threatens my value as a man, which then threatens my value to my wife as her husband, which then also threatens my value as a father, as a friend, as a son. I don't have answers here yet that are complete, but I'm really rethinking this. My time belongs to me, and if I wish to use my time outside of work, I get the whole, when you're at work, don't be doing things, personal things at work. So I don't, I'm in the middle of my job. I'm not sitting there calling my wife in the middle of my job. No, no, no. But once I've delivered my 40 hours, once I've delivered my 8 hours, once I've delivered what I promised, and that time outside of those 40 hours, that's mine. For sleeping, eating, building, creating, nurturing my marriage, whatever, protecting and providing for my marriage. I am not owned by the corporation. I'm owned, well, ultimately, really, I'm owned by God. I belong to God. Then after God, I belong to me. And then after me, I belong to my wife. We could maybe go with God, wife, me. There's conversation to have around that. But you know what isn't in that list at that high level? Occupation, corporation, job. Heck, I wouldn't even go this way. If I'm a pastor, let's pretend I was a pastor. It's going to be God, wife, children, family, pastor. Or friends and then pastor. I don't know. There's a conversation to be had in there. But by no means am I going to give up my future and the potential income because my company doesn't want competition, that wants my time to belong to them, and that's it? And I have to ask some kind of permission, or I've got to do everything in secret? Lord have mercy. My time belongs to me, and if I want to build a business, it's my business. Go chase your dreams, man. Go chase your dreams. Don't tell your employer nothing. None of their business. As long as you're delivering what you're supposed to deliver while you're on their clock, man, ain't nothing else their business. Take care. Bye for now.